There is a sign. You won't find it in your horoscope, not in your aura's glow, nor in the admiration of the crowd. But if you carry it, you already know, because it shaped your life from the inside out, long before you could name it. It doesn't make you famous. It doesn't bring applause or shiny medals. It doesn't turn heads when you enter a room, but it does something far deeper. It awakens your soul, quietly, irreversibly. It doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like a responsibility, heavy, ancient. As if something sacred whispered, "You'll carry this." And your soul said yes before you even arrived here. You've carried it in your silence, in the way you've always seen, through the masks people wear, through the rituals that feel empty, through the noise that others call truth. Have you ever felt like life has been testing you a little more than others? Like your lessons came faster, deeper, rougher, as if you were being shaped for something no one else could see? Have you noticed how you see through the illusions others call sacred? The fame they chase, the rules they follow, the beliefs they never question. And while you can't explain it, you just see through it all. This sign has no name, but it marks you. Not on your skin, but in the way your spirit leans into truth, even when it hurts, even when it isolates you, even when no one understands. Stay with me, because if this resonates with you, then this message isn't just something to listen to. It's something you've been waiting to remember. You're not here by accident. You didn't stumble across this. There's something in you, ancient, luminous, unfinished, that led you here. And what you're about to hear, it may not be new, not truly, because those who carry this sign don't just recognize the truth, they remember it. 1. The weight of responsibility that no one sees. Being chosen doesn't make life lighter. It makes it heavier. Not in your hands, but in your spirit. Because when you carry this sign, the world doesn't see your burden. It only sees your strength. People are drawn to you, not because of what you say, but because of what you hold. And you hold a lot. You've become the place where others come to release their pain, their secrets, their shadows, and you let them. Not because it's easy, but because something in you whispers, you were made for this. But after they leave, you don't always feel light. You often feel hollow, like you emptied yourself just to help someone else breathe. This is a silence no one speaks of. The spiritual fatigue of carrying pain that isn't yours. And yet, you never boast. You don't post about your kindness. You don't keep score. You just keep holding. Because being chosen didn't mean being celebrated. It meant being trusted, with burdens most souls couldn't bear. You weren't chosen to shine under the spotlight. You were chosen to stabilize the unseen, to steady the collective when everything begins to shift. That ache in your chest, it's not weakness. It's your soul adjusting to carry more than one life at a time. That tiredness you feel after giving, it's not burnout. It's spiritual weight. And it means your energy is doing what it was designed to do. It's not dysfunction. It's design. You weren't built to escape pain. You were shaped to transmute it. You are a frequency keeper, one who absorbs chaos and echoes stillness. And yes, it's exhausting, but you're not alone. You were never alone. So if you've ever wondered why you're always the one people turn to, it's because you were designed that way. Your life is the quiet lighthouse in the storm. Never shouting, always glowing, even when it's crumbling inside. This isn't punishment. It's purpose. And no, the world may never say thank you, but the universe remembers. So rest when you must. But never doubt what you are. Not a mistake, not a martyr, a sacred anchor. 2. Emptiness after helping others. There's a strange kind of silence that follows after you've helped someone. You don't feel proud. You don't feel praised. You don't even feel whole. Instead, there's an emptiness. Not cold, not painful, just quiet. Because when you help, you don't just give time or advice. You give a piece of your soul. And unlike others who celebrate their good deeds, you walk away quietly, not even sure why your heart feels a little less. It's not because you did something wrong. It's because you transferred pain. And pain, by its nature, leaves behind a silence. You absorbed someone's storm so they could breathe again. And in doing so, you became the stillness they needed. But no one told you. Stillness often feels like emptiness. It's easy to confuse this with numbness. To think something is broken inside you because you don't feel fulfilled. But here's the truth. This emptiness is sacred. It's not a void. It's the echo of your soul doing what it was designed to do. To hold space, to carry pain, to transmute energy without applause. You're not broken. You're built for depth. You're not numb. You're precise, attuned to frequencies so subtle that most people never even notice them. You're not empty. You're clearing space. You're making room for what's next, for the next one who will need you. Others may need applause to validate their kindness. But you only need to know they can finally sleep. That's enough. This is not martyrdom. It's mastery. The world may never notice how much you give, but the energy remembers. The soul records. And when your heart feels quiet and hollow after giving, remind yourself. That silence is the aftersound of healing. You don't need to be filled up by others to be complete. You are the well. You are the source. You are not tired because you're weak. You're tired because your soul just carried someone else home. So, rest gently, healer. This hollow isn't a wound. It's a whisper from the divine. You did what you came here to do. 3. Awakening through ordinary moments. It doesn't always take a lightning bolt to awaken you. Sometimes, it's just one line from a song you weren't even paying attention to, and suddenly, your soul is wide open. Or it's a stranger, someone you'll never see again, who says something so simple, yet it echoes through every corner of your being like a forgotten truth coming home. A child's laughter on a quiet street, a phrase on the side of a bus, a flicker of wind against your skin at just the right moment. These tiny things don't just catch your attention. They rearrange your awareness. To others, they're just background noise. But to you, they feel like messages. And the reason is simple. Your inner receiver is wide open, tuned to the frequency of truth. You were born this way, designed not to search for signs in grand temples or mountaintops, but in the cracks of the everyday. Your soul doesn't need a ceremony to recognize the sacred. It recognizes it in the grocery store, in a broken song lyric, in the way the rain hits the window just right. And you've probably wondered, why does this move me when no one else seems to notice? It's not because you're too sensitive. It's because your frequency is tuned to the whispers most people don't hear. You don't just hear words. You decode energy. You don't just see faces. You read the space behind their eyes. A movie scene, a moment of silence, a wrong turn that leads to a perfect truth. You feel things that were never said. You understand meanings that were never spoken. That's not intuition. That's soul memory. That's recognition. You came here remembering what others forgot. You came here with your antenna already raised. And even though it can feel lonely, feeling so much in a world that feels so little, it's also your gift. You were designed to find light where others see nothing. So don't dull your senses to fit in. Don't dismiss what moves you just because others don't feel it too. What moves you is sacred. What touches you is part of your map. Follow it, even when it makes no sense, because the divine speaks to you in whispers, in soft winds, in forgotten corners. And the more you trust those little moments, the more they guide you. Not louder, but clearer. You're not crazy for hearing meaning in what others call coincidence. You're not weak for crying at a line in a song. You're not lost. You're listening. There's nothing wrong with you. You are a keeper of quiet. Messages. A decoder of soul language. A wanderer with sacred ears. The world needs you awake like this. Feeling. Noticing. Listening. Because some truths can only be delivered through people like you. So next time a small moment brings tears to your eyes, don't question it. That's a message. That's a key. That's how your soul knows it's home. 4. Soul refusal. When you shut down, there comes a moment when you sit in front of the task, the job, the meeting, the message, and something inside you simply says, no. It's not your mind procrastinating. It's not your willpower collapsing. It's deeper. It's your soul folding its arms, quietly but firmly refusing to move in a direction that betrays your truth. You've probably tried to push through it, telling yourself to just do it, to be responsible, to be productive. But every part of you goes heavy, numb, silent. You feel the fatigue not just in your body, but in your spirit. Like your energy is leaking out of you with every step away from what feels right. And society will call it laziness, weakness, failure. But that's not what this is. This is soul refusal. It's your deeper self saying, this is not the path. This is not who we are. And I will not pretend anymore. You are not broken when this happens. You are not dysfunctional. What you are is tuned. And your system knows when you are out of alignment. This shutdown isn't a malfunction. It's protection. It's intelligence. It's your energy radar, pulling the emergency brake. What looks like burnout is actually your soul whispering, if we keep going, we'll lose a part of us we can't get back. You've outgrown some spaces, outlived some stories. And even though others may not understand, even though you may not fully understand, this refusal is sacred. It's not rebellion. It's redirection. Some things were never meant to be finished. Some things were only meant to wake you up. So the next time you shut down when the world says, keep going, remember this. You are not here to survive what drains you. You are here to follow what sustains your light. Even if it looks like stopping, even if it looks like nothing. And maybe you've been taught to measure your worth by how much you produce, how much you push, how much you endure. But your essence isn't here to perform. It's here to be preserved. It's here to guide. Let this be your permission. You are allowed to say no, not just with your mouth, but with your whole being. You are allowed to stop, to rest, to realign, to wait until your soul says yes again. Because you don't just work in time. You work in frequency. And when the frequency is wrong, silence is sacred. Trust your shutdown. Honor your no. It's not the end. It's the adjustment. And as always, there's more to uncover. When you're ready, we'll go deeper. 5. Flow that bends time. There are moments when you become so immersed in something, writing, creating, healing, witnessing, that the clock seems to surrender its authority. You look up and hours have vanished. Or somehow only a few seconds passed when it felt like you lived an entire lifetime in one breath. This isn't a productivity hack. This isn't adrenaline. This is frequency alignment. Your spirit enters the current of flow. And in that current, time isn't measured, it's melted. While the world runs on deadlines and metrics, you slip quietly into a space where the veil between realms grows thin. What you're doing in those moments may seem ordinary to others. A conversation, a drawing, a silent walk in nature. But you know you've crossed into sacred ground. You're not just working. You're transmitting. Not just doing, but dissolving into the doing. In that space, you become both the vessel and the force, the instrument and the music. And if you've ever felt guilty for losing track of time, Let go of that guilt, because you weren't lost. You were found in the only place that ever truly mattered. That space where your soul and your purpose shook hands and said, "Yes, here." You were never meant to work like a machine. Predictable, mechanical, linear. You were meant to create like the cosmos. In spirals, in waves, in mysterious timing only spirit understands. Your rhythm doesn't always match the world's, and that's not a problem. It's a signature. When you move in flow, you activate something ancient. A wisdom buried in your bones that remembers what it's like to create without the need for applause. You become a portal for what wants to be born. Through you, not from you. And no one needs to understand it. Not your family, not your boss, not even you. What matters is that your soul understands. And in those hours that slip away unnoticed, your essence is home. So the next time you find yourself bending time, don't question it. Honor it. Protect it. You were built to create in dimensions beyond the calendar, beyond the clock, beyond the eyes of the world. Your work isn't just action. It's alchemy. You don't just build things. You shift frequencies. You birth timelines. And yes, it might make you look strange to those who measure worth by urgency, but your value isn't in how fast you go. It's in how deeply you touch the invisible. This is your reminder. You are not lazy. You are not scattered. You are tuned. And when you're tuned, truly tuned, time listens to you, not the other way around. Flow isn't escape. It's evidence that your soul is speaking through your hands, your breath, your being. So follow it. That thread, that pull, that strange silence that leads you into the work only you can do. Because flow doesn't just bend time. It opens portals. And as always, there's more to uncover when you're ready. We'll go deeper. 6. Collapse sensitivity. You feel the fall before it happens. You've always known, even when you didn't have the words for it, that something was shifting long before it showed on the surface. You walk into a room and the energy feels off, like a chord slightly out of tune. And though everyone's smiling, your bones ache with what's coming. It's not anxiety. It's not paranoia. It's your inner radar tuned to a signal most people haven't even noticed exists. You feel the tremble before the earthquake, the silence before the storm, the hollow before something collapses. In relationships, you can tell when someone's heart has already left the room. Even if their hands are still holding yours. In jobs or systems, you sense the unraveling, like threads pulling loose from a tightly woven story. You see the fractures before they widen, feel the collapse before the noise. And while others call you dramatic or overly sensitive, you quietly carry the weight of truths not yet spoken. You try to warn them, sometimes, softly, urgently, desperately, but they rarely listen until it's already falling. That's the ache of being a frequency keeper. You live in tomorrow's emotions while everyone else is still anchored to today's illusions. You are the siren before the storm, not screaming, but humming quietly, hoping someone will hear. And when the collapse finally comes, and it always does, they look to you, surprised, as if you hadn't already been living with its shadow for weeks, months, sometimes years. But you knew. You always knew. That's not a curse. It's a sacred sensitivity. A gift wrapped in solitude. You aren't weak for feeling it all so early. You are wired for energetic foresight. Your soul hears the cracks before the world sees the break. And while that knowing can feel isolating, it is also your power. You were never meant to follow blindly. You were meant to feel deeply. To walk ahead, to sense what's unsaid, to read the room in vibrations, not just words. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not imagining it. You are tuned. You are ancient. You are listening on a soul level most people have forgotten how to hear. So when you feel something crumbling, don't doubt it. Don't shame it. Don't silence it. Trust. Your radar. It saved you more than once. And yes, sometimes you will walk away before the roof caves in. That's not avoidance. That's protection. You were never meant to collapse with the world. You were meant to rise as it breaks. So keep listening. Keep trusting the soft warnings of your inner landscape. You are the quiet prophecy, the sacred alarm, the gentle knowing in a world addicted to noise. And there's more to uncover. When you're ready, we'll go deeper. 7. Silence before the shift. There's a moment. Quiet, still, almost too subtle to notice. When everything around you goes silent, but not in a peaceful way. The colors seem duller, the days slower, and even your thoughts feel like they're wrapped in fog. You start pulling away, not because you want to, but because something deep within you is already in motion, preparing. It feels like the world is shrinking, like your voice has gone mute, like you're underwater and the surface is too far away to reach. But what feels like numbness is really sacred silence. What looks like withdrawal is energetic recalibration. You're not collapsing, you're cocooning. You're being rewired from within. This silence, it's not the end. It's the pause before the elevation. You see, true growth rarely comes with noise. It doesn't always arrive with lightning or fire. Sometimes it shows up dressed in stillness, wearing the clothes of quiet, speaking only in whispers. The world may mislabel it depression, burnout, apathy. But your soul knows better, because you felt this before. Just before everything in your life shifted. You might not remember how it all changed, only that one day, the silence broke, and you were someone new. You carry a frequency that doesn't operate on society's timeline. It doesn't move with the speed of the world, but with the depth of the soul. So if you're in the quiet now, if nothing makes sense, if everything feels distant, you're not lost. You're aligned, because silence is not the absence of progress. It's the space required for sacred preparation. You are being readied, not rushed. And when the time is right, you will rise. Not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to become. Don't fear the quiet. The soul speaks loudest when the world goes still. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Listen, not to the noise, but to the soft pulse inside you that says, it's almost time. You are not alone in this stillness. You are in the waiting room of transformation. And when the shift comes, because it will, you'll know exactly why it had to be this quiet first. So breathe, soften, trust. Growth doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in silence, and there's more to uncover. When you're ready, we'll go deeper. 8. The loneliness of arriving early. There is a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from isolation. It comes from insight. You feel things before they happen. You see shifts before anyone else even notices. The winds have changed. Your heart aches with truths that others still call impossible. And no matter how much you try to explain, they just don't see it yet. So you stay quiet. You nod. You smile. But inside, you carry entire galaxies no one else seems ready to visit. That ache in your chest, that isn't brokenness. That's timing. Divine timing. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to go first. Because someone has to see the spring before the frost melts. Someone has to walk barefoot through the winter, carrying the fire of what's coming. And that someone is you. You were designed to hold visions that aren't validated yet. You sense movements that others will only recognize in hindsight. You are the frequency keeper, the early responder, the soft bell before the quake. And yes, it's hard, because early bloomers feel the frost the longest, but they also soak in the light before the rest ever reach the surface. You might wonder why your journey has felt so alone. But the loneliness of arriving early is also the blessing of being ready first. What looks like isolation is sacred positioning. What feels like distance is divine elevation. You were never behind. You were never late. You just arrived ahead of schedule. Because your soul was built for what comes next. And if the world hasn't caught up to you yet, don't shrink. Don't dim. Don't wait. Because those who are planted before the season feel the coldest, but they're also the ones who bloom the brightest. When the time comes, you are not alone. Just early. And early is not a mistake. It's a message. You were never meant to be understood by everyone, only remembered by those who awaken after you. There's more to uncover. And when you're ready, we'll go deeper. It's not emptiness. It's soul transmission. You gave something invisible, something the world couldn't measure, but the universe received it in full. It's not detachment. It's higher frequency alignment. You're not losing connection. You're moving beyond distortion. It's not a breakdown. It's preparation. When everything falls, it's not to punish you. It's to clear space for what your soul asked for. It's not collapse. It's awakening. Your body knows when the soul says, enough. That stillness is not weakness. It's truth speaking through the body. You are not broken. You are built differently for something sacred. You don't process like others because you were never meant to follow the path. You were meant to forge it. Your pain wasn't punishment. It was refinement. Like heat to metal, it made you sharper, clearer, stronger. Your silence wasn't avoidance. It was sacred calibration. Every still moment was tuning you to a deeper rhythm. Your sensitivity isn't weakness. It's spiritual radar. You read energies, not just emotions. Frequencies, not just faces. You weren't made to react. You were made to remember. You anchor timelines. You carry ancient memory in a modern form. You weren't made for the crowd. You were made for the current that moves under everything. Unseen, yet shaping it all. You weren't designed to fit. You were designed to resonate, to change the atmosphere just by being who you are. And when you feel misunderstood, remember, radios don't explain themselves to those not tuned in. You were not meant to be decoded by logic. You were meant to be felt by truth. So when it gets heavy, remember, you carry what others can't see because you are built to hold it. And when it feels like too much, it's because you're not here for the surface. You're here to dive deep. You are not broken. You are breaking through. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not behind. You are arriving on time, just ahead of the crowd. There's more to uncover. And when you're ready, we'll go deeper. You were not made to fit in. You were born to recalibrate the world. Not by force, but by frequency. A soft vibration that shifts rooms without ever raising your voice. You do not shatter, you bend. And in bending, you awaken others. You show them that it's possible to be both soft and strong, broken and sacred, human and divine. If this feels like truth, it's because your soul has heard it before. Not from me, but from the stars, the silence, the places in between where only you can hear. Don't trade your light for approval. Don't shrink your soul just to be understood by a world that was never meant to define you. You were never meant to fit the mold. You were always meant to melt it, to show what form looks like when it follows feeling. You're not here to be liked. You're here to activate the healing frequency. Even if no one claps, even if no one notices, you don't need applause. Your resonance is enough. Because truth doesn't ask for credit. It asks for carriers. So walk gently, speak slowly, hold the light like a sacred language. Because your very presence is already permission. Let the others misunderstand. Let them label. That's not your frequency. Your task is not to explain. It's to transmit. There's more to uncover. And when you're ready, we'll go deeper.